I was talking to my boo earlier and I was like, listen, I feel like the way I used to sleep in, because nowadays I don't do it as much, but like it would be embarrassingly late, like 1, 2, 3 o'clock
PM.
But they were like, that's depression.
Which is so funny.
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, my guilty pleasure is depression. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Normalize This, the show where we discuss whether or not trends and behavior should be normalized in everyday society. My name is Adam Rippon.
And I'm Danielle Young, holding up my finger guns.
And today, Danielle, we're discussing normalizing guilty pleasures.
Wow, my finger guns are definitely one of those, I think.
I'm really excited to have this conversation because I'm going to be honest, right off the top of my head, I can't think of a few, but I know once we get started, I'll be spewing. I
feel very similar because also, is my guilty pleasure, is it a fetish?
Okay.
How do I know the difference?
We need to immediately get into this. But first, make sure that you stick with us later because later on in the show, we're going to be playing a game that we always play here on the podcast called Keep It or Curb It.
Keep it or curb it.
That is a song that is waiting on a trademark. So
yeah, I heard Sierra was really interested in actually taking it. So
yes,
you never know.
I would agree. You never know because Sierra is always that does sound like a Sierra song.
A pop hit. She does a pop hit. But before we get into the show and into anything else, Adam, I love hearing your fun facts. So every show I always ask Adam to give me a fun fact in case you're like just listening for the first time, which would be like very criminal. I'm very like, nah. But what is your fun fact about yourself?
My fun fact is, I'm going to just tell you something that I've been thinking. I'm wondering how true are protein drinks? How true? Because
wait, is this your fun fact?
Yeah, it's more of the fact is that I am an inquisitive mind. I'm just wondering like how much of it is actually working. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, because like my understanding of protein is like it's chicken and stuff. So
right. This
very
is more
much
of like
my
a
understanding
milk.
Of Europe being
right. London is Europe. It's basically the same as that. That's
same
kind of
thing.
what
So it's like protein to me is the drink leaning you out by giving you more protein in your body?
I don't know. I think this is Danielle. This is like where I'm.
This wasn't a fun fact, Adam. Once again,
I will get the hang of this eventually, but before that, I do have questions.
Oh.
I hope to get answered. No, questions on protein is that's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning right back into
Adam. So fun fact, Adam needs a visit to a nutritionist.
Yes, that would be great. If you'd like to normalize that for me.
Because we don't know what protein is, honey.
No. Danielle, lead us off with a good fun fact.
Fun fact. Okay. It's not about protein shakes or chicken or turkey.
Okay.
Or is it?
Okay.
No, I feel like my fun facts are always like a flex on like where I've been and who I am in my career. So I'm just going to keep in that vein. So
as you absolutely should.
So hot off the presses, I don't even think it's hit the presses yet, but because, we're recording in the future, maybe it has. But my fun fact is that I have been named one of Ebony Power 100.
Wow.
Cue audience applause.
Incredible. Danielle, congratulations.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Thank you. I can't believe it. I've worked really hard.
Of course. Of course you should believe it. That's so awesome. And yet again, I've been off of the Ebony 100 list.
Yeah, Adam, you're going to get left off probably every
continually.
Year.
Yeah. I keep kind of knocking on that door.
Until the end of time. But maybe if Ivory had a list,
We don't need a list. There is a list and it's called America's Most Wanted. We don't need another one.
That list is already long and strong.
There's enough ivory on that list.
But I'm glad you learned these fun facts about me and Adam, proteins and Power 100.
Yeah, that's so incredible.
Thank you. Before we get into the show, I do want to know that y'all are following us on the socials and DMing us. I've been checking my DMs relentlessly, and I haven't seen a thing. So you have to hit us up.
You do.
It's required. You know?
Yeah, you do. We're looking for it. We want to normalize basically any and everything that can be. That can
be out here and going on in the world, and we don't even know about it. But you know about it. So you have to DM us or hit us on Instagram. However, DMs are there, right? Yes. That's where they're at. But hit us there. I'm Danielle, the Danielle Young on Instagram, THE, my name. And on Twitter, I'm Rapsodani, RHAPSODANI. Adam, how do they at you?
Instagram, I'm at a rip. And on Twitter, I'm at Adam Rippon.
At a rip.
At a rip.
Sounds like a encouragement.
It is. And you know what? I don't know. I regret this all the time. But I remember I made a Twitter account, say it with me, 15 years ago? ? What? That's true.
It's the start of my career as a little baby journalist.
Yeah. So I don't know what I was thinking. I just thought I would never use it, which cut to here I am still using it. And I don't know why I just went with at a rip. I just taken off the M and the O and the N. Dead weight out of that name.
Adam.
Yep, the mon out, gone. So that's what it is. I don't know that's how I ended there.
Either way, I hope people add you and are not offended by your name.
Thank you. I hope that too. Truly, I do.
But don't forget also, everyone out there listening, that you need to rate the show because we need to pay the bills around here. And once you start to really feel the mutuality in our relationship, which is going to be immediately because me and Adam like to love bomb, but we keep it going. We can maintain it.
Yes.
You can subscribe after that. We promise. Then once you get that, you can subscribe because then you're going to know it's real. But then also leave a review. I know feel like I'm asking a lot.
No, you're not.
But
5 stars, quick review. You're in, you're out.
You're in,
done.
you're out.
That's it.
Barely a blip of time on your day. It'll be fine.
It will be fine. And you know what else will be fine? Guilty pleasures.
I need to know so many things, okay?
First of all, you really, I'm the rabbit. You're holding the carrot. I'm running after the carrot. You said it might be a fetish. Do we start there?
Do we start there? Because the fact that pleasure is in there and it's the guilt behind it. I know a lot of people probably automatically go to a food or what you watch or things that you buy. But my mind immediately goes to porn.
Your mind goes to literal legal guilt and pleasure. Guilt plus pleasure.
Guilt plus pleasure. I mean, at a rip, we are at a day and age where both of us have seen
it all.
We've seen the internet blossom, basically, where porn used to not be a readily available thing. But now it is. You can just type it in on the go.
You don't even need to do that. You can just sometimes be on Twitter and then all of a sudden it will be there. That's a scary part of Twitter that I forget about sometimes until I see it. And then I go, oh yeah.
But to that point, it's so accessible. It's so right there. I think it takes the guilt out of it a little bit. But notice my voice went all the way up a couple octaves.
I notice. I noted. I wrote that down. I noted. I said voice up. Push about that later. So what is it? What's the voice up?
I don't know because I still feel guilty looking at. I don't go to Twitter to look for porn. I've never seen but I've heard that it's there accessible. But sometimes when I go to look for porn, it can feel a little guilty, especially as I go down rabbit holes and start looking at things that could be guilty.
This is
not of breaking the law of any type of thing. I would like to firmly say not anything that would be illegal. Thank you.
I appreciate the clarification. I'm sure the audience
search
does.
my history, baby. No.
Right. And I will, and we'll be reading it aloud. Okay, you know
episode.
What? On the next, that's why you should rate this with 5 stars if you would like to hear Danielle's full Google history. If somebody really read my Google history, I think somebody would be afraid.
What if that's like what happens on Judgment Day? We see
I'm gonna. The judge will not. I'll be getting an acquittal.
Please, can we push this trial back?
I'll be like, it's a mistrial. Obviously,
I can't. But for real, okay. So guilty pleasures. Let's talk about what it actually is, because
what are
it can get
pleasures?
into fetish land depending on where you are, but they are supposedly defined as activities, products, or habits that a person participates in because it brings them joy, yet it also makes them feel some shame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's the shame.
It is the shame, because there can be good and bad ones, right? Like they make you feel like you're treating yourself, or they can reduce stress, but like they can be unhealthy or expensive, or they might make you feel that guilt more than the pleasure.
Real.
So, okay. I'm gonna just dive right back into porn, because here I go again. I don't feel guilty about watching porn. I don't watch it like I'm not watching it now. It sounds a lot like somebody who's watching it now.
And someone who's guilty.
Somebody who is guilty of watching it right now. Yeah, I don't know. I think because, like you said, it's so readily available that it just is so, like, doesn't faze me in the same way that, like, I remember being in, like, 5th or 6th grade, and these kids in my class would print out pictures of these topless women that they had to play like these like automated games of poker to see. So they had to work to see these breasts.
This sounds like I had to walk 15 miles in the snow.
That's literally their journey. Is they had to play and win a full game of poker online to then
kids
see.
These days.
They don't get it. There was no Twitter. You had to be an acclaimed card player. It was just not the same. So I don't feel guilt because I, unlike today, had to work for it.
It's so good to me. I don't know why, but wow, that is so funny. Like they really had to work for it. But like that is like, it's reminiscent of like the magazines that like my older brother would like, you know, hide and stuff like that, because it was, now that felt like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that was, you know what's guilt? I'm going to tell you guilty, call the police. You had to, you were trying to look up porn before school on dial-up internet. Now that's get your prints. Listen, you're getting locked up. Take the mug shots.
Oh my God.
It's over.
It's over. Guilty pleasure, like memory that you unlocked was like, being in the den at night when everybody's asleep and watching like Real Sex on HBO. It was like a show that used to like talk about sex and show like little taboo things that people do, like nudist colonies and people that had sex with like rubber dolls and stuff. And then like have it on like the Disney Channel. And then if I heard something, I would press the last button and it would go back to Disney. That was a very big guilty pleasure.
Well, okay, I'm getting worried. Were you in my room while I was doing that? Are you relaying an experience I did? Because I'm going to tell you that I not only watched it, and anyone who knows anything will know that if you had a VHS tape, there was a little like tab. And if that tab was out, you could not record over the VHS tape. Do you know what I'm talking about, Danielle?
I don't, but I do.
Okay, because there was that, it was like on the, not the part that like flips up where like the film comes out. It was like, I think on the other side where it was like this tab. And if you wanted to record it over, okay, let's normalize speaking in your native tongue.
Record it over? Record over it?
Yes, thank you. If you wanted to record over it, you needed to get a piece of Scotch tape and you needed to put it over the little, the tab that had been pulled out, which I did do over my parents' wedding video.
No, you didn't.
I did. And I would laugh and I would be embarrassed, but I've told this story countless times. Never on this podcast.
You recorded porn over your parents' wedding video?
Yeah. They are divorced, so it was sort of, I guess, a premonition.
Part of God's plan.
It was that, and that's how I know God is okay with porn. Yeah.
Oh. Also that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a specific thing that you did.
Yeah, what a specific core memory and like identity changing thing
really,
about me.
Your parents' whole wedding video, was that a guilty pleasure or just pleasure?
I don't know. I think I was just truly guilty and I have no pleasure thinking about it now.
Listen, there are a lot of guilty pleasures that exist outside of like the sexual realm.
Yeah, let's go into them. I'm in a hole and I'm like begging you. I'm clawing my way out. I'm begging you to take me out.
But see, I don't actually feel guilty about it because I'm excited that I can afford it and it's fine. But like, if I don't feel like going out or whatever, I'll order from like Tao or Boa or, somewhere that's just expensive and silly, but delicious. And like my takeout, like when I see the price, I'm like, it's fine.
That does sound great. I feel like I haven't ever ordered takeout from a nice place. That's making it sound like I eat like garbage.
Well,
which I do. I'm not saying I don't.
Protein powder right out of the canister.
This is not sponsored and obviously never will be after this. I'm having a Fairlife Core Power 42 grams. See, that's why I'm going back to it. That's why I'm suspicious. 42? Am I going to have a shit made out of actual cement like that?
Yes,
I'm just worried.
It doesn't seem like it's great. Your beverage choices are concerning. Your guilty pleasures are really bad choices.
They are bad. I will tell you, one of my adult guilty pleasures is childhood candy.
Oh.
And I always have fruit roll-ups and Gushers in my house. Always.
You sound like my best friend. He's always got Gushers around or some type of candy. I don't see how y'all still do it.
Oh,
but I also wasn't a candy
don't.
kid growing up. I was more like, if I want candy, it'll be specifically like a Reese's cup.
Oh, wait.
But put in the freezer first.
Okay.
So
what is your favorite candy? What is your favorite candy?
Of all time?
If you had to just give me like I just need one of the top three. I don't need all three, so no pressure.
I know, that's what I'm like, but I guess I would have to say peanut M&M. Is that boring? Is that silly?
After Reese's cup?
Well, because I love a Reese's cup in the freezer specifically, but peanut M&Ms, I just love them. But I don't know. I don't know if it's above, but you only let me have one.
I take back. I'm first of all, you have to know when you're wrong, and I was wrong to only say one.
Yeah, because
why don't you give me a handful?
Well, see, here's the thing about M&Ms. And a lot of candies, I guess, but I'm not paying attention to them.
Right.
But M&M, they like to reinvent themselves. And a friend of mine...
I'm going to need you to dig a little deeper into that. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm not seeing a lot of reinvention.
Listen, their advertising is fun and hilarious, but also
that's true.
They do have different flavors that you wouldn't expect because everybody's like, oh, M&Ms are M&Ms. But a friend of mine put me on a couple months back to brownie M&Ms. And my life changed.
What is that?
It's M&Ms filled with literal pieces of brownie.
Oh.
And it's so tiny. So, the size of an M&M. So it's like you're eating little brownies.
M&M brownie. I actually
you
have
said, is
a
this
pen.
True?
Yeah, I don't believe that. I've never seen. Why? Who's behind the marketing on that? Because I
don't know. I feel like they need to say more, but
yeah, because I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of them except for when my friend told me, and then on my next Target run, I was like, well, let me just look because I don't know. And they
did
were
you find
there.
them?
Yeah.
Huh. That feels special edition to me.
I know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, should I get more before they're gone?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get them this like sometime this week because now
you are going to. Oh my God, you're gonna probably text me and be like, "Girl,
yeah,
girl."
I probably will. I'll be like, I'm never allowed in this Target anymore, but I do have the brownie M&Ms.
My new guilty pleasure.
But I think for me, guilty pleasure, when I think of guilty pleasure, I do think of food. I do think of like sweets.
Food does make me feel guilty in so many ways.
It does. Food does make me feel guilty. I still like, I don't know. Yeah.
I haven't released a lot of that from childhood.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I do want to share some of my favorite candies.
Yes. Oh, of course.
Okay. So I told you this. So this is important to know that a fruit roll-up, a fruit by the foot, and a gusher is not in the candy section. It is next to it, but it is still considered fruit. Okay? I don't make these rules. They make these rules. Danielle Young.
I gotta go investigate again.
I'm challenging you, okay? I'm challenging you to go into the candy aisle of your grocery store, and I shit you not, you won't find a gusher for a fucking mile. Until you get to granola bar.
You're right. They are boxed up like in those like taller boxes like granola bars.
Yes, which is insane.
That's so funny. They're not candy.
No, because they have fruit juice.
I think it's because of how they package them.
Do you think, I wonder what the qualification of where does candy start and where does fruit end?
Because the fruit is in a whole different section called produce.
No, if I'm eating something that is
you're acting like the candy is beside the fruit. That's no grocery store does that. Do they?
No, they don't. Because what I'm saying is that there's one aisle. And this does sound like I did study every grocery store, and I have.
I was like, wait, is it really that?
So I can't remember what's on the opposite side. I think it's cereal, and anybody can tell me wrong. So you're visualizing like you're in a Ralph's, you're in your Kroger, you're in your Wegmans, right? You can visualize it.
I want to be at Wegmans.
I love Wegmans. You know what I would love? I would love a pretzel bun from a Wawa.
Oh my God.
Did that hit home?
It really did.
Yeah.
Wawa.
What
a sandwich.
The deli inside of Wawa, that is a guilty pleasure.
That is just a pleasure. What a pleasure.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure.
Listen, speaking of pleasures, I don't know, because I was talking to my boo earlier and I was like, listen, I feel like the way I used to sleep in, because nowadays I don't do it as much, but like it would be embarrassingly late, like 1, 2, 3 o'clock, like still lazing around, still laying. But they were like, that's depression.
Which is so funny.
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, my guilty pleasure is depression.
Yeah, I really love like not getting up or showering or like moving in general. So guilty, so pleasurable.
Oh my God, that is so
that's depression, baby.
Funny. That is very funny. Yeah, I kind of mask my depression as a guilty pleasure sometimes.
Maybe I do, because apparently 24% of Americans love being in bed on a lazy Sunday afternoon. And also 42% of them people order takeout because they don't want to cook. Those to me are very like lazy-ish vibes.
Yeah.
24% also of Americans love sneaking meals while laying in bed. The laziest.
That's crazy to me. Food and bed don't mix.
That's actually one line that I will draw.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing food into my bedroom.
The only time I feel like it's okay. It's not good and should never be done, but the only time it's okay to eat in bed is if you're at a hotel.
Yeah, I'm definitely eating in bed.
It's part of the aesthetic.
I don't do that, but I will bring a tray over to that bed.
Yeah,
from room service so fast.
1/4 pound burger.
I've done steak, and
that's crazy because that requires like tension on a plate.
I've done steak in bed. Listen, when I commit, I commit. It's my guilty pleasure.
That is incredible. I don't think that I'm just visualizing it. I'm also still visualizing the grocery store. Cereal on one side, candy all the way to the right.
Me in bed in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And then
steak.
And then steak right at the hotel waiting for me.
Listen, guilty pleasures all in one location. I
do love that.
I mean, whether or not it's depression.
Whether or not.
It's yet to be determined. But like,
I think if you're doing it once a week, it's a lazy Sunday. I think if you're making it a pattern where
now
Sunday,
it's depression.
Yeah, that would be depression.
Felt. Well, Adam, what are your guilty pleasures other than locating those M&M brownies?
Well, I think that candy is one of my big guilty pleasures. And I also think that I hate this. I think probably my two biggest guilty pleasures are like sweets and also just scrolling through social media.
Oh my gosh.
I'll do it to relax, which is crazy.
It is so nuts. I'll do it and not even be doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I'm scrolling, but I'm not even like engaged in any real way.
Yeah.
Like,
just not watching anything.
Just scrolling. And I really don't have any real connection to it. I don't know if that's also a guilty pleasure or just like dissociating.
Right. It sounds more like
I'm like, do I love that?
Depression. Yeah.
It does give me shame.
Oh, that for sure gives me guilt. and it's always tinged with like a moment of pleasure where something makes me half chuckle for a second. I go, it was worth it. I look at the clock. It's been 8 hours. Was it worth it? Call a doctor. Take a walk.
You look up, your husband is 82.
But I'm like Benjamin Button's, same age. Not a day over 30.
God, that would be so good, but terrible.
It is terrible. But to go along with that, feeling that guilt, 38% of Americans confess they're at least a little ashamed of their guilty pleasures, with 39% admitting to lying about them and 22%
some lying ass liars
actually hiding them from their partner. 22%.
Oh,
I will say there's no hiding as many gushers as I have in the house.
Listen, and that is freedom. Being able to like fully showcase your guilty pleasure to your partner is like, because I was actually talking to mine the other night about that. I was like, I've been in like dating or relationships where like my partner's coming over or we're, making plans and I'm like trying to make sure I bake in time to like smoke my joint or do this or do that because I don't want to do that while they're here. And I'm like, I'm so glad that I just don't have to do that with them. Like, I can just do whatever I do and it's fine. It's not, I'm not feeling like shame for doing it. So I feel like I've had guilty pleasures in relationships and in different spaces only because I allow myself to feel guilty about it or just not be my unapologetic self.
That's an amazing point because I think if you feel like someone might judge you or if you feel like there might be some sort of repercussion, I think that's where the guilt comes in. Otherwise, like you said, it's just a pleasure.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just like something I like to do. Or if I'm attaching meaning to the fact that like, I want to do this more than once. Or, you know what I mean? If that's when it gets kind of where it kind of feels like
addiction.
Man. Yeah.
Gluttony.
So is it a guilty pleasure? Is it addiction? Is it a fetish? Is it depression? You be the judge.
So I do want to know, when you said fetish, did you just mean watching porn? I'm all the way full circle.
I did, but I also meant like, how specific and nuanced that porn can get these days now that we don't have to work and be a professional card game player for it.
Yes.
You're
search.
able to search anything. And then also because of the relevant this or that and your curiosity and you start clicking around and you end up seeing people sitting on cake. And then maybe you like it.
Going to scream. That I will now have to delete my Google history because I will be searching that. sitting on cake.
People, there's a whole world
Community?
out here, Adam. People putting their feet in cakes, sitting on it.
Okay, I will say, I would do that. Because I think it would feel good, but I don't think
because
that
who
should be
does that? You know, like who? But also, yeah, that probably would feel great.
Yeah, it would feel great, but I wouldn't feel like a sexual satisfaction from it.
But do you know that? You have not tried it.
So that's what I mean about like to know it.
Like guilty pleasures you can find them because now all of a sudden you went down this rabbit hole. Like let's say I've dated a guy with a foot fetish before.
What was it like? What was it like dating me? I'm kidding.
Funny enough, we never had actual sex, like penetration sex.
Really?
He always had sex with my feet.
Whoa.
I never thought I would share that with a podcast.
Wait, I love to hear about that. So was that, did he have did he just not have an interest to go?
You know, it was a short-lived romance, but no. Like, no. And honestly, I was kind of cool with it because I also was in such a place of like, let me just have fun and see what this is like.
Right. And what was your takeaway? Did you enjoy it? I'm assuming that
people are into some things, okay? Like, for instance, with this guy, I was living in New York at the time. And so I lived where was I? I was on the 148th and my gym was on 125th. Mm-hmm. So I would often like walk to and fro. And so one day he was like, oh, I'll come with you. I'll walk with you. And he was like, if you didn't go to the gym without socks, I hope that you take your socks off before the walk. And I was like, huh?
Oh, too many rules already.
I know it was rules and regulations, but he had like, if you could have like an itemized list of the things that you would want from one action,
yeah.
I was impressed because he wanted the socks to save for later, to sniff or to do whatever with.
Let's rewind. Have you done the workout yet or are you going to the workout?
I did the workout already and he told me he would meet me. Because he's told me before to like work out with no socks. And I'm like, that would like ruin my sneakers immediately. Because I have to wear them again and everything's wet.
Right. So he's saying workout done, socks off, in a baggie? Off.
Yeah. So he was
adding context.
You are, but I'm sure he probably would have because they were going to be saved for later. And then once we got to my apartment, he wanted the shoes so that he could sniff them while I was like showering or whatever. And then after that, he wanted my clean feet, to do some things, to do a job.
So that is, I'm going to be honest, exhausting to me.
Honestly, the ab workout that it took to do the job. Just to let your imaginations roll.
He was probably in incredible shape.
No, it was me with the abs because I'm the one doing the ab workout where you lay on the ground and you're lifting your legs up and down, the leg lifts.
Oh, wait. Oh, my God. You had to do
So
work?
Imagine those in short leg lifts because it's, you're doing it on there.
My eyeballs are falling out of my head. They're rolling off my desk. I'm kind of looking around because I'm now can't see anything because I'm in a blackout because now I know what you're talking about. And now I know that you were in the best shape of your life.
Listen, I was in my 20s. It was a different time.
Oh, that's
The abs were abbing. The abs were abbing. It was a workout on top of a workout on top of a workout. And it was just such specific instructions. And I was like...
And you had to do all that. He didn't decide to kind of do anything?
I mean, because he was like, listen, I know this is different. So the request had to be made. It was... And so from there, I wouldn't like offer for anything really because I was just like exploring his fetish through him. But I had to get up out of there.
Yeah, I mean, you can only isolate.
I can only do so many leg lifts.
I mean, God damn it.
So guilty pleasure for me is like, well, it used to be. I don't know if it still is because I'm locked down, but who knows? But I like, dating and exploring in that way. I don't know if it makes me feel shame, But the stories, like I felt my face getting hot.
Yeah. Danielle, when we talk about guilty pleasures, I think we think of something that you might feel guilty about. But do you think that the person in this story, the person you were dating, do you think that they felt guilty at all about this? It doesn't sound like they were guilty.
No. You know what I felt like he felt? I think he felt relieved that he found someone who was honestly curious and not like immediately like, no. Right. Because when we met, you know, like I said, I was living in New York. We met on the train and it was summertime. I had on sandals, but he like kept looking at my feet. And I was like, oh, because it was at first in a way that I was like, okay, cute. But then I was like, wait, what is
really? So you met on the train?
Like he is still looking.
Okay, so you kind of got the vibe that that's what. Okay.
Yes, because when we exchanged numbers before he got off the train, he had texted me, and before I got home, I got it, you know, as I was getting off. And I was like, oh, he's already hitting me up. And he was like, you know, it's nice meeting you, all that, you know, pleasantries. And then he was like, I think you caught me staring. And I was like, oh, I did. And were you like looking at my feet? And he was like, yeah, I was trying not to be obvious. And then we got into the conversation and I asked him flat out. I was like, do you have a fetish?
In a way, you kind of released the guilt for him.
I know. I made space for him.
Oh, that's kind of incredible. Okay.
Wow. Normalizing things over here, Adam.
That is truly, that's normalizing in the real world.
It really is, because the thing is, like, when you ask me, do you feel guilt and all that? Because that's why I think it was a little hard for me to think of guilty pleasures, because sometimes I feel like I don't have shame attached to things that I do. At least if I do, I can work through that. But I don't know if I attach shame to things that I enjoy.
Yeah, I don't think I do anymore.
Real. Yeah, I think that takes a certain level of living.
Yes.
Some maturity.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I used to, like, things that I would want to do, I would feel guilty about, but I don't really feel guilty about anything.
I know. Listen, the New York Times has this article about guilty pleasures even being in existence. And this writer, Michaela Higgs, said, these are our guilty pleasures, but if we enjoy them, why should we feel guilty? We should be free to do whatever we like.
True.
We give them a bad rap. You know, I feel like she goes on in the article, she's talking about like the indulgences and all that we have, the attitudes that we use when we talk about them. I think that's what we attach that guilt to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, she says, according to experts, feeling guilty about activities we enjoy can diminish the benefits they offer us, which is because, you know. But shedding,
so true.
Yeah, right. And shedding self-imposed embarrassment about our interests can be empowering and enrich our social lives. Because I just told you about this foot fetish love affair that I had, which is why it's time to ditch guilty pleasures from our collective vocabulary. Should we do that? Should we say screw it?
I definitely think we should. I think we were on that track, and that's kind of what we were saying. That like
normalize it.
Normalize it. It's like you shouldn't feel guilty about things that bring you joy.
Period. Your pleasure is yours, unless it is actually something that could make you guilty in a court of law.
Right. And then you should feel no pleasure in doing that.
Please be and stay ashamed.
Yes, please. Normalize shame.
For people who do things that are illegal.
Yes, we would love that. And now, onto our favorite part of the show. One of them. The whole show is my favorite part, but
yes.
Onto one of them. Are you ready for
Keep it
or curb it?
Wow.
I know.
That's nice, Adam.
Thank you. I mean, it's your song, so I'm only following suit.
Yes.
So, our first Keep It or Curb It. Are you ready?
Yes. Are we dragging it to the curb? Or are we keeping it in our hearts?
According to Pew Research, the only research we here at this podcast listen to Finger Guns Back Out. About 23% of adult social media users in the United States say they have changed their views about a political or social issue because of something they saw on social media in the past year. So should we keep or curb getting your political views from social media?
What a dangerous game,
Totally.
Because while social media has so many amazing, beautiful benefits of information sharing, it also has the ability for anybody to share said information. So it just doesn't make it a safe ground for like accuracy and truth, especially when you think about political views skewing left, skewing right.
Right.
It's not factual a lot of the times. It's based on convenience and what fits a certain narrative.
I think that a common theme I hear about like politics on social media is that, the algorithm will feed you what you've already shown interest to.
Yeah.
And so I've always been curious if like I lean left. Obviously, I'm me. I was talking about gushers.
Yes.
As a guilty pleasure. I'm like about to take this stand in Congress about gushers.
Yeah.
But I've always been curious, what are people seeing that make them so one way or the other?
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, it's really, really, really hard for me to find that content, even if I search for it. Most likely, I think because the algorithm is swaying me back into things that I like and different people that like that might be connected to and kind of less in that direction. It's really hard for me to find that. And I searched that only to get a better idea of like, why would people be so against something that I see so clearly as a necessity for other people? Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
Got it. So, good night, everyone. Thank you. I have to go. So what I'm saying is basically, okay, let's say like with the things going on in Donald Trump.
Things going on in Donald Trump.
Things going on in Donald Trump, period. That is one of the dumbest sentences I've ever said aloud. And I'm going to have to get it tattooed on my arm.
It's so good.
So, he, let's just say it, broke the law.
Clearly.
And I think that that's pretty obvious. And to me, it's like, right. He broke the law and that's not good. Like, I think we can all agree that's not good. Except we can't all agree.
We don't all agree that that's all good.
We don't
people
all
have
agree.
So many different biases and weird moral compasses. Like to see on social media, I forget his name, but he's a part of the Daily Show. Like he just like does the political correspondence. Jordan Klepper, that's his name. But yes, so he'll go out there and be talking to these people, and these Trump supporters would be just complete idiots on the things that they actively support when it comes to Trump. And you laugh when you see this stuff on social media and you think that this cannot be real, that this is a joke, but it's real and it's true and it's people who believe this way. And that kind of stuff is seen all over social media. And it just makes me nervous that 23% of people on social media in the United States change their views about politics or even social issues because of something they saw on social media. That is scary. 23% is a lot of people who can be swayed based on an algorithm.
And you know what? I think that for like old people who are older than us, I think that they're used to getting the news, and the news is the news. And with a huge share of fake news, and
listen,
I think with that being so just kind of out there, that when they see it, it's just very easy to think that like that is what
real.
it is.
Yeah, because even my mom, she loves scrolling Facebook, and my mom's one of those very innocent social media users where she likes to see the babies and the puppies hugging, or somebody receiving a gift and things like that. And so she'll see certain things where I'm like, girl, that's not real. Or, like certain skin diseases or things like that. And she would be like, oh my God, you got to be careful because this is, I'm like, girl.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's not real, baby. But you know what? That's happening in so many ways where people are spewing so many crazy political ideas and folks are latching on to that. And it can go as bad as like, you know, one of these mass shooters who listens to whatever craziness someone has to say on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And they believe it. And they go out and shoot this demographic of people, Black people, because they believe, you know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
So it's dangerous and weird that people can feel that swayed.
Because you know what's the other scary thing about it is a lot of this stuff, a lot of the fake stuff is like well made or made well enough that it's persuasive if you didn't know any better.
Exactly.
And that's
deep fakes
what's
are
so
a thing.
scary. Completely.
It's a thing.
Or like, I mean, just somebody sitting in front of a camera, giving an interview, being passionate about something, and just saying things that aren't true. You want to believe them if they're saying them with such vigor. Because we're kind of programmed to like, oh, someone's giving an interview, and in this context of the music playing, or and the, you know, the aperture being faded out behind them, and the nice camera, and then good sound quality, you're inclined to think it's true.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm definitely curbing getting your political views from social media. Please, I know there's not a lot of books left.
There are actually no more books left.
I know there's not a lot of news left that you can trust. But my God, today, do not use social media for your source of political information.
No, it's a great place to get a lot of information.
Unless you see Stacey Abrams. Whatever she's telling you is probably, you can believe it.
You can believe Stacey. She's probably one of the last people that we can believe.
Right, which is why they're trying to keep her out of, but you know, whatever. Neither here nor there.
That's another thing of like, that's why curb this, get rid of it. Awful. I think that we get that information gets spewed to us that we then also have to fact check it. It's, first of all, it's a propaganda campaign, internet terrorism. It's not, it's bad. Danielle, you heard it here first.
I heard it here first.
And, you know, there is one more thing. I have to talk about this, is that Eric Trump was on some Fox News program, and he was talking about how like his father would never leave confidential documents just sprawled out on the floor like that.
Really? He would never?
And to me, that was like a talking point in the news and that could get spread. That's crazy to me, because that was a photo of like criminal evidence.
Yeah. And you could literally see it and be like, nah, he would never do that. Like, you're legit.
Yeah, I have to curb it. And it's curbed.
Curbed, officially. We're not going to do that. Keep scrolling, everybody. Our next,
keep scrolling.
Keep it or curb it.
Mm-hmm.
Reports are coming out from everywhere, Adam. And another one has surfaced saying that Americans are becoming less religious. According to Pew 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 Research Center, 75 our favorite 75%, that is so many percents, of Americans identified as Christian in 2011, and then by 2021 that number shrunk down to 63%. 10 years ago, roughly 18%, just 18 of them 18% of Americans were not affiliated with any religion, identifying as agnostic, atheist, or nothing in particular. My favorite.
I know.
That number grew to 29% in 2021. So almost the same amount of decrease of Christianity is the increase of nothing in particulars.
My favorite religion.
So are we keeping or curbing these great American folks of ours becoming less religious?
I'm going to keep it. I'll be honest, I'm not very religious, but I do believe in like creating good energy for yourself and doing the right thing, and like I do believe in like something higher. Okay, and I don't know what that is, if that's the universe or whatever
out there that's bigger than us.
And I do. This is my theory on religion of like Christianity or Buddhism or
any isms.
Any isms. If you're Muslim, basically what I think is that all of the stories are very similar, and that throughout the years, people in different parts of the world have kind of, those stories have, the core of them is the same. And a lot of the stories, and I grew up Catholic, so a lot of the stories in the Bible are basically just like Jesus was good and just be good. Like, that's the core of it.
The core is,
and I feel
goodness.
like the core is good. And I feel like that's kind of the guiding light of what religion should be.
Mm-hmm.
And people are so polarized by it, and that turns me off. And I think that like it just I don't identify with religion at all. I don't.
All of that to say, I believe in nothing in particular.
But I do. But you know what I mean? Like
I do, because
I feel spiritual, or like I feel connected to something. I feel like whatever I call it, if I call it God, I feel like I feel connected to that in a way, but I don't feel any connection to religion.
Yeah, I think I feel similar in the sense of like, I was born and raised in a Christian family, going to church and all that goodness. And my mom is still very much like Jesus's right-hand woman, and I respect that, and I love
and that's
God.
Good he found one. He has been looking for
one.
He
has been looking for so long, and I feel like it was her that needed to be the one. And so I do believe, and I am connected to God, something greater than myself, something that makes this whole thing work. And so I think that is what I'm connected to, and I do believe in the God in myself, like, respecting and loving my body as this temple, and attempting to be good and do good in the world and all of that. And so I think, not to sound like somebody's dating profile, but I am spiritual, not religious.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a perfect way of saying it, because I feel the same way.
Yeah, like it's not, I will never denounce God, but I don't think that, churches make me feel a way.
Well, and also, I don't understand is the people who are this most extreme in all of these religions are completely exactly like the people in their Bible or whatever.
It's the ones in the church who are the most unchurched, because
exactly, they're exactly
not
like
to be
the
putting
people.
on my business, but I mean, I'm gonna put it out there because fuck it. I have an uncle who is a pastor who's a rapist. You know what I mean? And like, there is evidence, because a person exists as a product of that. And it's so sickening to me to have, and this is going to get deeper than I imagined, but to have a family, especially like my mom, be very forgiving of him, of that, and have her feel so against, or have so much vitriol for homosexuality. And it's like, really, girl?
Right. Like, where did you draw the line?
The line is weird.
Right.
So it just, the religion thing, while that is one example, it is so many reoccurring examples of that across religions. Yeah. Across the spaces of people having this like religious authority. I mean, we've seen it in Catholics, churches. We've seen it just across the board. And it's like, okay, that level of evil existing in a place that's supposed to be so inherently good. Right. It doesn't make sense to me.
Safe,
or should be safe.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. So I don't respect that institution, but I do know that there is something greater. And there is something that I feel, and I call it God for myself, but I feel connected to God.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I think another thing that bothers me is that, the Bible, and I just bring up the Bible because I grew up Catholic as well, right? It's old, but it's also not the same Bible we had like 50 years ago. Like the text gets updated.
It's
and
translated.
Like,
it's like a gigantic game of telephone.
Right. And so I'm like, you can't trust like people and you can't trust people. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
But you just can't, like, it's just been, it's been leaned in different directions according to different things people
circumstances.
wanted.
I mean,
right?
Look about slavery. They were using Christianity and religion to let slaves know how to obey their master.
Mm-hmm.
That you were a bad person if you went against the person that owned you as a human. So you mean to tell me this is in the Bible? Wait a minute.
Right. That's where I'm like, I think people will they twist things into the narrative that they want to spin it into.
Exactly.
And that's the problem I have with religion, because I feel like a lot of time religion is used as a tactic to create a narrative, and they hide behind a hateful narrative behind God.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem that I have with it. And that's why I don't feel connected to it at all, because it feels like a tool and not like an experience.
Oh.
How about that?
Poetic.
She was talking about gushers.
It's the range,
It is the range.
So we're curbing religion.
I'm curb.
Keeping spirituality.
Yeah. Yes.
Connect to something greater than yourself and be good.
Yes. Keeping God in podcasts is what we do here. All right, Danielle, let's. Okay, can we just let's for once? I have another keeper curb.
Oh, I love these.
Okay. So this one is, in 2022, Maya Angelou became the first Black woman to ever be featured on a U.S. coin, the quarter. Congrats. Flowers to Maya Angelou. The Maya Angelou quarter is the first in the American Women Quarters program, which will include coins featuring prominent women in American history, including Sally Ride, who's the first American woman in space, Asian American actress Anna Mae Wong, and Cherokee National Leader Wilma Mankiller, and others. New coins in the American Women Quarters program.
Wilma Mankiller.
Yeah. Damn.
It's a Cherokee Nation name, so it's very literal.
Yes. Did I say national?
You might have.
And you know what? And for that, I should die. I should be man-killed, because that is not right.
It could have been.
These new quarters are coming out in 2025. So basically, obviously we should keep this. This is not a debate. But who else should we put on money?
Oh my God, Michelle Obama.
Hell yes.
First Black First Lady. First Lady that we truly just j'adore since Jackie O. It's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer. I mean, I think basically my question is, on the $20 bill right now we have Andrew Jackson. Let's take Andrew's done. We were done with Andrew.
20. Well, they were supposed to give us those Tubbs, those Harriet Tubmans.
Exactly. I'm still waiting on my Tubmans. Where's that plan?
I'm still waiting on my Tubman.
I want my Tubmans. I would much rather, because that's who was supposed to be on the $20 bill, was Harriet Tubman.
Listen, let's put the people who really built this great nation on the money, okay?
Yeah, let's put the people who made this America great, who made it great.
Right, let's erase all the white men while we're here.
Yeah.
Not you.
Not
Adam.
Me. Or but a lot of you.
I was about to say the list is short,
It's short. And honestly, I'm glad that I was taken off the list by someone who is in the Ebony Top 100. Is that correct? Or should I go Power?
100.
Ebony Power?
Power 100, yes.
Okay.
Put the in Power.
And you will for many years to come.
And then put me on the dime. I don't even need a quarter.
I love that we went from $20 bill and you already put yourself on the dime. Which is honestly, Danielle, I'll say smart, because nobody's looking at the dime if we're talking about a $20 bill.
Exactly. We can sneak and do it while nobody's looking.
I really like that. What do you think of people wanting to get rid of the penny? I say get rid of it. I could give a shit.
Money is almost out the door. So by the time money is completely obsolete, that's probably when they'll put someone else on it.
Right. That's a little too close to home.
They're like, we'll put them on the penny.
Yeah. Okay, so Danielle, I have a question.
Yeah.
And it is, how often do you use cash?
Sheesh. Literally just once a month when I have to pay my cleaning lady who only accepts cash. And
Okay,
or if I
work
go,
diva.
she said, keep me off the record, okay?
She said, I do not want to have this on the books.
We don't need no paper trails.
Yeah.
And I can't do nothing but respect it.
Oh, I love that.
So, I'll get her cash out every once a month. But then there's some dispensaries out here that only take cash. So I have to go to the ATM and type all my numbers in. It's very inconvenient.
Yeah, you know what? I always have a little bit of cash in my car. Now it will get robbed. I always have a little bit of cash.
What kind of car is that, Adam?
Do you have the license plate first or the color and make? So I always have a little bit of cash because I have learned my lesson the hard way and I haven't had cash and I'm just like, there's no parking anywhere. Get me to the valet. I never, ever am in trouble. I always have cash. The other thing, if you live in LA, on the West Side they have not updated those meters. And some of them still take coins. My voice went out.
Which is nuts.
It's nuts. But you know what else is nuts? I have a bag of fucking quarters in my car at all time because I'm not missing out on prime parking on the West Side.
I know that's right. I should do the same thing because the ones that accept the cards but not the tap, and you have to put the card in.
Yeah.
That is the hardest, most anxiety causing thing because I can never get my card out because of my nails.
Well, and it's you have to shove it up pretty far.
And you're
Let's be honest.
Where is my card?
Right. It is kind of a little too far.
It's a little too deep for my liking.
It is way too deep. And also another thing is that JP, my husband, from Europe, every time he would travel back, Great Britain, which is famously just Great Britain, is always surprised, or was surprised, he lives here now, but before he moved here, he was always surprised of how, that we still were using, the chip. And I'm like, the chip is, kind of new. And they were doing tap, 4 years ago, tapping.
Yeah, the chip is so yesterday.
Oh, now every time I use the chip, I'm going, this is a scam. They're reading my card. If you can't if you can't
they're reading everything. And then also the fact that when you tap, that goes to your email and you're like, well, that's not even, how'd y'all get my email?
Yeah. How do you know? There's something you're not telling us. I'm also going to say, this is another thing that's starting to scare me. And I saw this at a Whole Foods other day. I mean this. I'm a Vons loyalist.
Clearly.
Obviously.
Up and down the aisles.
They are not selling Gushers at Whole Foods. And I'm sorry, I just want red dye number 40 and I don't want to care about it. Yes. So at Whole Foods, I saw that they have this thing where you can just scan your palm or something.
Oh no, Mark of the Beast.
Yeah. That's
they
scary.
Talk about this in Revelations. I don't like that.
You know what's scary is that I think I would do it. I think I would do it. I think that's what's so scary is that I will bend.
Well, see, in that vein, as we, dig more into the future of things, coins are going to be out the door, cash out the door, cards are almost going to be out the door at that point. And then we'll be scanning our hands or our eyeballs. Do we put Harriet Tubman on our palms?
Yes, I would.
Absolutely.
I would.
Judging you every step of the way.
Yeah, I think that that's what we should do.
Reminding you, do you know how many times I went north and south and north and south?
And it's
every time you spend money at Yogurt Land.
Yeah. I think everyone should do that. I think that should be a national obligation.
Yeah. A lot less money being spent if Harriet Tubman's on your hand judging you every time you go to scan.
Yeah. Would she want yogurt? I don't know. You'll have to ask your hand.
So are we keeping or curbing women and minorities?
I think we obviously, I'm definitely keeping women on money. I love that.
Yes.
And I think I'm also curbing Andrew Jackson because I want to see Harriet Tubman on a 20 before we abolish the $20
Hello,
bill.
Get it to us before we get rid of money, okay?
Yes.
And curb Andrew Jackson.
Curb. He's gone.
All day. George Washington's lying ass too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And was he the one that never told a lie?
Yeah.
And
Here's
lie.
another piece of truth for you, bitch. You have wood teeth, fucker.
Yeah, the wood teeth was a myth. They actually used teeth out of the mouths of slaves. There goes George Washington with yet another lie.
Oh.
Yeah. What a horror movie, right? And sometimes it would be like, not just like, oh, your teeth are rotten. Their teeth were rotten. So they wanted healthy teeth.
Oh my God.
America, wasn't it?
Get it together. I'll be honest. A lot of those first presidents were probably not good.
A lot or all?
All.
I just don't know how many greats, but how it's just crazy that the narrative that we get in schools is never tell a lie.
Right. Never tell a lie, but steal teeth.
And then lie about it.
Call them wood.
Take all of them people off money.
Yeah, and put me on it and you.
Period.
Done. And Harriet Tubman, the three of us.
We're
the three most random people you could ever think of.
Just us squirrels.
Just us.
Listen, Adam, what a show.
What a show.
What a show. What a time, as always. What was your favorite takeaway?
I'll be honest. My favorite takeaway was learning about how you're being recognized in your huge honor. I'm very excited and very happy for you.
I thought you were going to talk about learning how I use my abs to pleasure my man.
I'm going to be honest. It was a race to the photo finish. But I did go with being proud of you. But to be honest, I'm proud of both.
Both moments it shows my range.
Mm-hmm. And you have it. All right, Danielle, what is your takeaway for this episode?
What's crazy, Adam, is that I didn't listen to a single thing that happened in this episode.
What's even crazier is neither did I.
Just hosting and hosting.
Mm-hmm.
No, truly, my favorite part is learning that guilty pleasures don't need a bad rap.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, but also learning that you might have an addiction to protein powder and or Celsius drinks.
Both. Any liquid. If I can keep it down. It's an addiction.
I'm going to keep it down.
I'm going to keep it down. Thank you. Thank you for finishing that for me. I was in a bit of a pickle.
I loved that I knew exactly where to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's our time, folks. We really just took up a little chunk of your day to enlighten you, encourage you, make you laugh, and just rot a couple brain cells. We didn't do that.
No, you didn't need them anyway, is basically.
You were going to do it anyway. You were going to rot them on your own and might as well let us do it. But we are so grateful that you listened and you made it the whole way through. Me and Adam are going to send you a gift in your DMs.
We will.
So make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And, don't forget to put your wooden teeth in.
Exactly.
Or are they wooden?
They're not. And now I know. Now I know.
Now you know. But please do hit us up on social media. You know where to find us. If you don't, I'm at the Danielle Young on Instagram and RapsoDanny on Twitter.
And I'm at AdaRip on Instagram and AdaRip on Twitter.
AdaRip. What a time.
What a life.
I hope that we get some DMs and some messages about other things we should normalize, because this has been one of my favorites so far, because guilty pleasures are hella normal.
Yes, they are.
That's it. That's
it.
So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, delete your search history.
We'll see you then.
Everyone out there listening, we want to hear from you. Make sure you follow at Make SpringHill on all platforms for weekly show updates.